What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the South Bay Rebel channel. I have a massive Lego haul here. Now, this was one that I won at a secondhand thrift store auction site. I think the winning bid that I paid for this was about 45 bucks, and it's around 30 pounds of just bulk mystery Lego. So we're going to sort some of this stuff out, see if there's anything good in there. I saw a couple key items that I was hoping were complete or had some of the figures from those sets here. You can see there's a couple big pieces there. There's a Star Wars set that I saw the bulk of the ship for, and I'm hoping the minifigs are somewhere buried in here. You also saw that James Bond DB5 Aston Martin, which is pretty cool. And then just a bunch of other stuff, some Ninjago figs that I saw from the pictures on the auction, and just who knows what. It's 30 pounds of bulk Lego. I think most of this is going to be stuff that I don't end up keeping. I have bulk Lego up to my ears. I don't need any more. And it's just super time consuming to go through it all and sort it all out by color and piece size and shape and all that stuff. But we'll go through it and see what we've got. I've got this first bag ripped open, and this first item I'm pulling out here is just this massive Bionicle motorcycle, which is pretty cool. I don't have a ton of Bionicle stuff, but I know they're somewhat popular. They have a bit of a following still, and that's an interesting item. So we'll set that aside, maybe try and piece that back together at some point in the future. Pulling some more of those bigger pieces out, you can see there's some Lego Friends stuff mixed in, and then this is a wing to that Star Wars ship I was talking about, hoping that the figs are here. Looked like most of the ship was. It is the Jex 14 starfighter ship, or stealth starfighter, and some pretty cool figs that come with that set. So we'll see. Not sure about that mishmash there, but there was a leg to a Ninjago dragon, which was also pretty cool. Saw a lot of those figs here, so we might have a complete set of that. And looks like one of the wings as well to that same dragon. So might try and piece that one back together. It's a pretty cool set, and I am a fan of the Ninjago stuff as of late. I think this looks like the base of the bonsai tree, maybe. We'll see, but pretty sure that's what that is there. And yeah, this looks like more of that bonsai tree. Didn't realize, I guess, that they use a bunch of frogs for some of the foliage on that. We've got another minifigure, though. That's Sora, and I think that's from that Ninjago set that has the dragon in it as well. We've got a neat-looking Dumbledore figure, so some Harry Potter stuff mixed in here, too. And our first animal of the day, so we've got a crocodile or an alligator. Not 100% sure, but it looks like the old school version of that. So that's pretty cool. Digging through some more of this stuff here. Okay, we got another big chunk of that dragon. I believe one of the elemental dragons, and that's a retired set now, so pretty cool. A Aston Martin, as we talked about earlier, looks like it's missing a little bit of the front end there, but mostly complete, so we'll try and find that printed piece with the headlight on it. It is printed, so that's nice. I have one of these that I have unopened, not built yet, so it's nice to have a backup here. It looks mostly complete, so that's pretty cool. And you had James Bond inside, so the figure was there as well. Then we have the head of that dragon, so that's pretty cool. I think that's probably the most unique piece. Oh, this is neat. We've got Santa's Little Helper, I think is its name, from The Simpsons. That's a first. That's definitely going directly in my personal collection. More of that Ninjago set from the Dragon Rising series, the Elemental Dragon. That's Jay, I believe. Yep, he looks like he's in great shape. Practically brand new condition. So that's pretty cool. This is one of the Marvel CMFs. I think that was the Ant-Man, or one of the Ant-Man variants. We got the other wing for that dragon, so those are the bigger pieces that I think are probably harder to come by. And this is that Jex 14 Stealth Starfighter ship, so very dusty. Looks like it's in a few pieces here, so we'll do our best to try and piece that together. It's a neat looking ship too, but it was really the figures from that set that I was after. They are quite pricey. We do have a Star Wars figure here, though. Not the correct torso and legs, but it does look like the... Oh, that's a pretty cool torso, though. Looks like one of the Castle Dragon Knights or dragon figures from the castle theme. So pretty cool. Don't come by those too often. Run-of-the-mill criminal from City Figs, probably. Nothing crazy there. And we got some Minecraft stuff, so wouldn't be a bulk Lego haul without some Minecraft mixed in there. Another one of the Ninjago figs from that Dragon Rising set. And let's see if we can dump some more of this stuff out. This is just bag one of, I think, about four. Four of these massive bags. So another Speed Champions Mercedes there. So that one's pretty cool. We've got, I don't know what's going on with this guy, but I like that armor piece. So that's pretty cool. Pretty unique torso there too. Not sure what that's from. If anybody knows, let me know down in the comments. But that armor piece is nice. That is in great condition. Always looking for castle stuff. I know it's pretty popular. It was something that is very nostalgic to me from my childhood playing with Lego. So always need to come by some of that castle stuff. It's not something I go out of my way to collect these days in terms of the modern sets, but I do keep an eye out for it, and anything that I can add to my collection is neat if I don't already have it. So we've got a headpiece here from, I think that's a Ninjago headpiece actually. Looks like a Jester's hat. Dump this out and see what else we can find. Spotted a couple more figs here, or pieces. So another Harry Potter fig, nothing crazy there, but also another Dragon Knight torso, so that's pretty cool. We'll set that aside and keep going through this stuff. Let's see what we can find here. Just so much to go through. Just tons and tons of parts and pieces. So that's it for that bag. We'll open another one and move on. Scoured through that first bag pretty good. Don't want to linger too long because we have a lot to go through. So that's only a fraction of this second bag that I can fit in the frame here. So we'll go through that, kind of push that stuff aside, and then pour out some more and carry on. So let's see here. Clear out some of these bigger pieces just so we can kind of get a better idea. There are some fake Lego pieces in here. I do like this scorpion though, so that's pretty neat. So a couple fake figs, but I'm seeing right on top here some stuff that looks genuine. So we've got this guy here, maybe a city fig, some kind of pilot. We've got Sonic. I know one of those Sonics, depending on where the mouth is placed, is pretty good on Bricklink, worth a pretty good amount. We also got a horse there, so that's neat. I always like to get some good horses. That is one of the modern ones, so it does kind of rear up on its hind legs, and it has the painting on the nose of the horse there too. So a couple more figs. This looks like one of those Marvel figs. I forget what his name is, but I think that's from the Marvel CMF series. So lots of nice detail on those. Kind of a bummer that we don't get more of them for like Star Wars. We've had a Harry Potter one, we've had Disney. I feel like Star Wars really needs a CMF series. They tend to skimp out on some of the details for those Star Wars figs in the sets, so kind of a bummer there. But another Ninjago fig, I believe that was Zane. Looks like some more Ninjago legs, so parts and pieces in here too. A ton of this Mario stuff as well, so I think that was Bowser. Some more legs. Not all of this stuff is in great shape, but for the most part, a lot of the Ninjago figs from that Dragon's Rising set was pretty decent. All of that looked pretty new. We've got another Marvel CMF fig. I think that is Agatha. That's her name. City fig looked like there. Nothing crazy. That's an interesting Minecraft figure. I've never seen that one before. Really weird, kind of tall torso, so might do a little more research on that. These football guys are not genuine Lego. Nothing against them. I'll just set this stuff aside. My nephews don't care, so that's going straight to them. But not something I want to keep mixed in with my collection. Although the head, if I can find where I flung it off to, The head's genuine, so I'll keep that one. And the rest of the fig is going in a different pile. Not sure if that's a genuine Lego piece. The heads with the holes are a little harder to identify. If anybody knows how to identify the heads with the holes as genuine Lego, I've always had a hard time making sure. So I'd love to know. Leave a comment below. We got a Batman fig. That looks like maybe a Star Wars Clone Trooper head though. And then we had another head. It looks like Batwing maybe. Something DC related. Going through some more of these parts and pieces. A quarter. Already making some of my money back. So that's nice. We'll clean some of this stuff up. I'm not really finding much more. Oh, that's... Never seen one of those tiny guys with the space theme. So that's interesting. I'll get the rest of this stuff cleaned up. We got some tiny Ant-Man pieces there that go with that CMF fig we found earlier, but kind of scoured through this pour out of that bag, so we'll set this aside and pour some more out. All right, so more of bag 2. This really is a, oh, that's a bummer. That old dark red stuff, those pieces don't fare well. Same with that classic brown color. Just something about those, they tend to crack, break pretty easily, so bummer to see that. We did find a couple more CMF Marvel figs though. I think that was Kate Bishop and She-Hulk. I don't know what was going on with Spider-Man, but some more parts and pieces there. We've got a Joker. It looks like one of the classic Jokers from the first Batman movie. Another Clone Trooper helmet, so that's cool. I think that one's pretty neat to find. I do have one of those in my collection, though. We've got R2. Always love a good droid, as you know, if you follow my channel. Another City Fig. Looked like maybe a Fly Fisher or something like that. Then we've got Hawkeye, also another Marvel CMF figure. This pizza box, that's a nice printed piece. I believe that goes with Kate Bishop. It was part of that show. And there should be a dog that came, like a one-eyed dog that came with that figure as well. Got a shark, looks kind of old. The printing on the eyes has even been all worn off, so not in great shape. Some more of those Mario figs and a Mario hat to go along with them. A ton of that stuff in here. There's that one-eyed dog. I forget what its name is. Spot or something like that. If anybody knows, drop a comment. Another fig. That guy's kind of interesting looking. Neat hat. Little backpack on him. Not sure if that's how that fig comes or if somebody just mashed together a bunch of figure parts. But not bad. Not cracked either, which is nice considering he's that brown color we talked about. Gonna pour out some more here. Kind of gone through that last pull as much as we could. See what else we've got. This is kind of a labor of love and emphasis on the labor. It is a bit of a chore sometimes to go through and pick out all the good stuff from these hauls, especially when it's so much like this one is. But I do love it. So it's fun. Kind of the thrill of the hunt. Never know what you're going to find in some of these. I had a good idea on some of the stuff that was in this that I could make out from the photos on the auction, but you never know. 30 pounds, that is a lot of Lego. So pulling out a couple more city figs here. Some police folks. Looks like maybe a brickhead torso for Mickey Mouse. So we'll see if the rest of him is in here. Tiny rubber ducky, which is pretty neat. Don't know if I have any of those. Oh, we've got, was it Snowball? I think that's Snowball. That's the cat from The Simpsons. More Mario stuff. There is a ton of that Mario stuff in here. Probably going to give that to my nephews as well. It's just not something I'm into. And I think that was Moon Knight, another CMF fig. This looks like, oh, all right. Yep, that is Anakin with the headset. No cracks. He looks brand new. So Not the Star Wars figure I was expecting to find in here with that Jex 14 set, but this one's pretty good. I'll look him up to confirm, but because there's a couple of versions of him out there, but I think he goes for a decent amount on Bricklink. Speaking of, this is a unique Dragon Knight shield. That's also a cool piece. Don't have one of those. It's not in great shape, but maybe I can clean it up. We've got Spider-Man. Those are a dime a dozen. Again, I don't sell any of this stuff on Bricklink, but it is nice to know when you've got something of decent value, especially if it's more than what you paid for it. That's always a good feeling, right? So, as much as I don't resell this stuff, it is nice to know what they're worth. We've got a Harry Potter fig, and I'll pick through the rest of this stuff, see if we've got anything else here, but that might do it for this bag, and we'll get another bit of a pour out and clean this up and see what we have next. All right, fearless. That's right. Fearless in our pursuit of good figs. So, see what we've got. Pour the rest of this out. I'm already seeing some more of that dragon. Some more Mario stuff on top here. So there's another dragon leg. Piece them back together one way or another. Some more Mario. Let's see what else we have. There's some more of that Jex 14 Stealth Starfighter ship. Still no figs. Horrible sticker placement on that too, but we'll try and piece that back together. A couple figs in this. Kind of a neat looking truck or SUV. And that might do it though. We'll pick through the rest of this and then pour some more out here. Yeah, not much more in that last pour. We'll pour the rest of it out and see. Still hopeful that I'm going to find some of those figs from that Star Wars set. But we're getting down to the end here, so it's getting close. All right, big chunk there. Here's another fig. I think this is probably Harry Potter themed. Not 100% sure. More Mario stuff. What else? We've got a Minecraft zombie, so kind of cool looking. And that's genuine Lego. It's a little bit yellowed, but that helmet is from that set, so a little bit of hope now. We'll see. More Marvel CMF stuff. That's Storm, so complete fig, pretty nice. And I think that'll do it. We'll get this cleaned up and kind of recap everything that we've found. Won't make you sit through me pulling all this stuff together and putting it away, but here's what we've got. So a bunch of heads, parts and pieces, helmets, hats, hair pieces. But this is what stood out. It's for a horse from the Castle series, some armor there. A pauldron. If it weren't stained, it would be a pretty nice piece. But then this Lion's Knight armor. So also a pretty good piece in great shape. And then we've got this dragon's shield. So we touched on that a little earlier. It is in pretty rough shape, but still a neat find. We also had a few animals, including this horse, which is in great shape. Really nice. Add that into the collection. And then a bunch of random torsos, legs, and what have you, including this one from Star Wars. A little bit of wear on the side, but mostly just dirt. We'll get him cleaned up and see what we can do. We also had this torso. It's cool looking, but I don't recognize it. Yeah. And then we've got these dragon ones. So this one looks like it has a ton of, let's see here. Yeah, a little bit of chew marks on the arm, some heavy swing wear, and that one side is cracked, unfortunately. Then we have this other one. Well, yeah, let's see. We've got that guy. I disassembled him just because I didn't know. This is the one with the pirate eye and the leather helmet. Wasn't sure if that was how that fig came together. These are some interesting leg pieces. I think they look like they go with this other Dragon Knight piece. So that torso is in a bit better shape. Let's check for cracks here. Heavy swing marks, but no cracks. So I can live with that. It'll still look good on display. So yeah, no cracks. Great. I feel like these legs go with him. They look like they do. If not, then it pairs great anyways. I'll double check, but that looks like a pretty decent fig there. Get him a head and a helmet, and he's good to go. As far as complete figs, we had a bunch of those too. I did want to highlight that helmet was one of the neater finds, but unfortunately yellowed, and there was no more of that set and its figs in the haul. But we did have this from Star Wars, a very nice, brand new almost Anakin with the headset. He goes for like 13-14 bucks, so pretty decent there. And then again, there was a bunch of these, CMF Marvel figs. This is Agatha, that's one of them. There was She-Hulk, a bunch more, Moon Knight, Ant-Man, and then Sora was among the many Dragons Rising Elemental Dragon figs from that set. We had the cat and dog, so Snowball and Santa's little helper from the Simpsons line. Those are cool, probably the favorites of this haul. As much as I like Star Wars, those are really fun to find. I don't have them. Of course, we love our droids. We had R2, we had Sonic, just a ton of stuff. So for 45 bucks, what do you guys think? I feel like this is a pretty decent haul, especially given the sets inside, but I'd love to know your thoughts. Was this worth 45 bucks? Let me know down in the comments. If you guys want to see more content like this, subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. And until the next time, I will catch you on the flip side.